Hey guys, Movie Junkie for Life here, and this is going to be my review of Coco. And Coco, this is Pixar's newest film, and it tells the story of a little boy named Miguel, which kind of threw me, but there's an explanation for that. Miguel lives with a family where music has been banned. His abuelita, which is his grandmama, doesn't allow music. So he comes from a family of shoemakers, but Miguel loves music, and he decides to play in a competition that's taking place in his village, in his hometown in Mexico. He doesn't have a guitar, so he sneaks into the crematorium of a famous Mexican singer named Ernesto de la Cruz and borrows the guitar, and when he strums it, he gets pulled into the land of the dead. And all of this is taking place on Dios de los Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead. It's a festival that is celebrated in Mexico. So Coco, you know, the thing with Pixar is 9 times out of 10 they're gonna knock it out of the park. So I wasn't very worried when I went in to see Coco. Doggy barking in the background. My apologies if you can hear that. Anyway, like I said, I wasn't really that worried about this movie because I figured that Pixar had it in the bag. My only concern being, would it be too similar to the Book of Life? And I'm happy to say it isn't. You know, visually there is some stuff going on there that's similar, and there are themes that both movies share. But for anybody who's seen the Book of Life and you've enjoyed that movie like I did, don't worry if you're going in thinking that Coco is the same film. It's a ripoff. It's not that. It's a completely different story, and it is its own thing. So getting into that, let's talk about the visuals. And this is a beautiful movie. This is a gorgeous looking movie. One of the things I really enjoyed about this movie, and it was, granted Pixar movies look amazing, was how realistic Miguel's hands looked when he was playing a guitar. I don't know how they did it, but it not that it pulled me out or anything like that. It wasn't too realistic, but it flowed so well and so perfectly with the chords that he was playing. It blew my mind. And the animation itself, it's a wonderful style that lends to the Mexican heritage of this movie and fits perfectly into this community. So I really loved everything about this movie. The world of the dead is also done in a way that I think as foreigners we can relate, because you've seen those sugar skull candies that they have, and the patterns of the skulls. They do a good job of making the dead look not too scary, because this is a kids film, by putting those intricate patterns into the faces of the dead. You know, so it's not as off-putting, and they have eyes and they have eyeballs, you know, so it's not as off-putting. But I will say that I think some of it might probably freak some kids out, because there is some of it that excuse me, I'm fighting the cold. It's a tad creepy in certain areas, the way they move. So yeah, it isn't perfect, but it's funny enough and sweet enough that, and the kids that were in the cinema when I was watching it seemed to be having a blast. So I don't think they were negatively affected by what was happening. So sorry, just got the cold today. Anyway, yeah, so like I said, the visuals are wonderful, the color choices are perfect for this film, and the story, oh my god, the story of Coco is a wonderful story, and this is where Pixar excels. Like, my absolute favorite Pixar movie is The Incredibles, but followed closely by Inside Out. And like Inside Out, Coco tells a much deeper story. There's a lot of themes here. You have your typical follow your dreams, you know, that sort of thing going on, but you also have a movie here that is showing you the importance of remembering who you are, not just who you are, knowing who you are, but remembering where you came from, remembering the heritage of the people of your family, paying respect to those who have gone. You know, there's a song in this movie, it's the main song of this movie, called Remember Me, and it's used in such wonderful ways because the song changes in significance as the movie goes along. It's amazing how they do this, because in one scene the song is used in a romantic setting, and you can see how it can fit there. And then you have another point where it's used where a father is saying goodbye to a daughter, and it just tears and tugs at your heartstrings. And then at another point it's used to remember someone we've lost. So that in itself to me is genius, and it shows the power of music. Another aspect of this movie that I quite enjoyed was how powerful music can be, and how music transcends. It transcends life, it transcends death, you know, it transcends generations. How powerful a song could be. So I really love that as well. And then we have another lesson here, and we have the character of Ernesto de la Cruz. I don't want to give anything away. I'm just going to say he's voiced wonderfully by Benjamin Bratt. Benjamin Bratt has also done voice work for Despicable Me. He was the voice of the villain in part 2. And here he does a great job as Ernesto de la Cruz. And again, if I don't want to say anything about it because I might get into, so yes, as I said, with this story, they have this character named Ernesto de la Cruz, and they show you the importance of, or the dangers of, putting people on a pedestal. You know, we have an idea of who our celebrities are, and we have, you know, it, when you're young especially, you think they can do no wrong. And it shows you a very wonderful story of why we should not put people on a pedestal. People in general, not just celebrities, but the importance of not idolizing people, because, you know, everybody has secrets and everybody has flaws. So this movie covers a wide array of stuff in the story, and I just thought it was wonderfully, smoothly done all the way through. I love the music. There's not a lot of music, but I love that. I'm not big on musicals, so I'm glad when music is used sparingly but correctly in this movie. And it is just, this movie is doing really, really well in Mexico, but I would not say this movie is just for one type of people. And I really love the fact that they are branching out and showing us different cultures. So I'm giving Coco an 8.5 out of 10. It's a very strong film. There are moments where things just kind of, you know, they have those slapstick comedy type moments. So it isn't, I wouldn't say it's as strong as Inside Out. I don't feel that way, or even maybe Wall-E, but it's definitely out of the park. It's a home run for Pixar. This is a wonderful movie. I hate those Cars movies, and this is head and shoulders above that. I highly recommend checking it out. Like I said, if you've seen Book of Life and you think Coco is the exact same thing, it's not. It's thematically the same, but it's a very, very different story. So please don't not go see this movie. Oh, horrible English there, sorry. Don't stop yourself from seeing this movie just because you think it's the same, or people online are saying that it's a ripoff. It's not, I promise you. And Coco gets an 8.5 out of 10. And that's gonna be it for me, guys. So until next time, adios.